This is Crash TV.
It's Friday the 11th of July, it's Cagney week. Welcome to Crash TV. This is Crash TV episode number 5, Crash FM 39. I'm Jez, I'm joined by Symes with a web team from Criterion Games. Here's what's coming up in the show.
Today on Crash TV.
Cagney's here, so we'll recap on the features. We've got the lowdown on the first calendar events. We'll meet Neil, who's been animating riders for the motorcycles in our upcoming Davis update. Plus the latest from around the Burnout community and questions from the mailbag. So it's Cagney week. This is the week that we finally brought the Cagney software update to PlayStation 3. And I think it's probably worth just a little bit of a stop to talk about what that actually means. I think, you know, for us this is incredibly exciting. This is the first major content drop for the game. It's the first time we've brought you exciting new content for Burnout Paradise, and what we're trying to do over the sort of 12 months since we launched the game is completely change it. So for fans of Burnout that have been playing it for a long time, you know, we've never done any of the kind of revolutionary changes that we're bringing to the game through this year of Paradise. Bikes, planes, calendar, all of that exciting stuff is coming as part of the year of Paradise. It's probably the most exciting time in the franchise in all of the years that we've worked on it.
Well, nobody's actually done this kind of stuff before. Nobody's turned around, taken a boxed product, and then for a whole 12 months provided update after update of game-changing content.
Exactly right, and I'm really tired of hearing kind of the phrase DLC and everybody kind of really down on DLC, because for us it's the most exciting thing that we could be working on. It's effectively bringing you, the gamers, the content directly without having to speak to anybody else. It's just working out what you want to play, talking to you, hearing what you've got to say, changing the game, and then delivering it straight through the box, and that's absolutely brilliant.
Exactly, and hopefully everybody here on PlayStation who's already got the Cagney update by now, you're seeing how game-changing that's coming. There's going to be a whole lot more coming up there. But anyway. Okay,
so Symes, what does it look like? How do I get Cagney?
Right, okay, so if you've not downloaded the Codename Cagney update yet for Burnout Paradise, how you get it? Really easy. No messing with the PlayStation Store, nothing. You take your Burnout Paradise disc, you stick it in your PlayStation 3, you boot it up. You'll get a little message saying that you've got to download the latest update. You'll press OK. You get V1.3 downloaded.
V1.3. We had to change that to Cagney.
Yeah.
So we changed the names of the patches that we're releasing from 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. We decided to name them after movie stars because we thought that was way more interesting and exciting and way more kind of representative of what we're actually doing with the game, which is huge.
Yeah. Well, traditionally one of the things is that the version number, usually with a little bottom digit like that, implies that something's broken, we're trying to fix it. Yeah, there are a few fixes in Cagney, but there's a whole lot more exciting content than that.
Okay, so what's the first thing that we'll see then?
Okay, so when your progress bar has got to the end of it, you've hit 99%, 100%, it's loaded. You'll get the familiar tune of the Guns N' Roses coming in, and then what you'll get to see is the brand new title screen, because the whole front end of the game has been completely changed. There's a bit of an overhaul, and to just show how much we're committed to changing the game and freshening it up.
Okay, so you're not going to get confused. You put the disc in, you do the update, and then immediately it'll look different. You'll see a different car and some new stuff right away.
Yeah, and the name of that car is the Nakamura Rai-Jin Turbo.
Ah, superb.
Ultra rare car this. If you hop onto it online, chances are that you're probably riding with one of the Criterion team or some of the most valued members of our forums and people out in the community, few guest press and all that lot. You'll probably see more of this car as the months go on, but for now there's only a handful of them out in the world, so yeah, if you bump into anybody driving one of those out in the world, get chatting to them, find out what's going on, because they're probably either from the team or from the forums.
Yeah, or be really nice to them because they're from the press.
Yeah.
So what else have we got in there? So there's a live page and a calendar. I think we're going to bring you more on that later on.
Yeah.
We've got 3 new game modes.
Yeah, 3 new game modes. So we've got online Marked Man, online Stunt Run, online Road Rage. So they are versions of the offline game brought online and made even more exciting by the fact that 8 players are all mucking in together. So online Marked Man then, Jez. What's it all about?
Alright, so in this game mode, you effectively play 8 players and it's 7 versus 1, and we constantly cycle between who that one kind of victim player is. And it's always, this is I think my favourite part of the whole update actually is just the moment where there's 8 players in the game and we haven't selected a marked man. People are driving around and you're thinking, is it going to be me? Is it going to be me, or is it going to be someone else? And the goal, if it's someone else, is to find them, take them down as quickly as possible, and you earn points for doing that. If it's you want to run find a good hiding place, or just keep running across the world. And I think it's just the best game. I mean, it's the one that really kind of excites me, and that moment in it is just absolutely hilarious.
Also, there's online stunt run, which is a version of the offline stunt run. In this one, 8 players go online and have to do stunts. The idea being that you've got to rack up the biggest possible number of points in a short amount of time. When the timer ends, the people that are still chaining those stunts together keep on going and racking up their combos, and what usually happens is everybody else in the game tries to take them down, because the moment they get taken down, they get combo killed and they lose all their points.
Yeah, and if you can get them within the timer, and this is a great one for me because I'm not too hot on stunt run, you get to steal their points, and that's a great feature.
Exactly.
And then the third game mode, and this is the third of the new ones, is Road Rage.
Yep.
And this effectively works 4 versus 4. We've got a red team and a blue team.
Although you can actually unbalance the teams.
Oh really? I didn't know that.
You see, yeah, you can do. So we can all gang up on you and Ian Angus if you want.
I did not know that. So that's probably what we should do in the next session. It's everybody versus the Cupster.
Exactly.
And so the goal here is, if you're on the blue team, is to race to a series of checkpoints and make it to the end of the route. You can only ever see one checkpoint ahead. If you're being chased by the red team, they can see all of the checkpoints, and so there's lots of strategy in there. Do I race to the final checkpoint? Do we all kind of gang up there and sort of spring a trap like an ambush, or do we just chase everybody through the world? And it just seems to always result in just the funniest games as well.
Cool.
So the most popular part of the game has always been Freeburn challenges, and I think it's just been amazing. We shipped 350 with the original game, and whenever I play online, I probably do more of Freeburn challenges than anything else. We'll see whether the online game modes can tempt me away, but I just love to play Freeburn challenges because it's just hanging out with a bunch of friends, having a good time, completing challenges. It's very relaxing, it's very funny when people can't do it, and it's just a great fun activity in the game. And our most popular thing, I think it's Burnout's greatest contribution to games so far. And so how's that changing then for Cagney?
Well, it's not so much changing, but there's an additional 70 timed multi-part Freeburn challenges. So in addition to the 350 you already have, there's another 70 that are coming to the Cagney update. And with those guys, what you do is it's like the Freeburn challenges that you're familiar with, where you have to zip about the world with up to 8 players and complete a particular challenge. But there's this added twist of a timer. So the idea being that you meet up online, the challenge comes up and tells you to go to a particular spot in the world. You all drive to it. Once you're there and you're all settled, a timer begins and the clock starts counting down. What you then have to do is complete the second part of the challenge. So whether that's doing aerial near misses, whether it's jumping over one another, all those kind of activities in the world, what you've got to try and do is coordinate yourselves, get together and try and complete it in the fastest time possible. Now that's also even more critical because there's a leaderboard as well.
Yeah, so for the first time in Freeburn challenges, a leaderboard, and you can kind of compete as teams to try and complete the challenges as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and that gives you that kind of moment of once you've just completed it and you look at your time, you're sure you can shave a few seconds off, so let's just go and run it again or whatever, like that kind of thing. Or the sort of situation where perhaps you fail a Freeburn challenge. This is the first time you've ever been able to fail a Freeburn challenge, and I'm kind of responsible for some of those.
How can that be, Simon? You're an expert on the game.
Have you seen me trying to reverse a Toge down Anderson?
Yes, I have, and it's not a pretty sight.
Exactly.
So, what else in the game? We've got a whole bunch of fixes and iterations and modifications, things as tiny as a small kind of hill in the airfield, one of our favourite locations, where people just kept crashing the car and stacking the car by accident. We just thought, let's refine that and let's just make all of the changes that are being requested by our regular fans in the game. But the thing I think we wanted to talk a bit about today, and we will be running a feature on, was the live page and the calendar. Yeah. And I think for me this is just an amazing part of the Cagney update, and I think it's almost the part that'll kind of slip in there as unnoticed. It's 1.0 of our calendar and live page, but what you see when you boot Cagney is a calendar on the left hand side and the blog on the right hand side.
Yeah.
So
now let's not underestimate this. This is the first time this kind of stuff's ever been done on console anywhere. This is absolutely revolutionary. I think even some of the guys on the team, when they were putting it together, didn't realise the impact that this is really going to have. But it's the first time ever we're able to actually change the game on a daily basis and serve up different types of gameplay.
Yeah, and that's what's so cool. So, in fact, we've got the first events taking place already. You can tune in for Thursdays, Tuesdays, and weekend events, which we're running specially, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in detail. But I think, what's so fascinating about this, I guess, is how it's going to evolve and how it's going to allow us to listen to what people say, make changes to the game, and then bring them to you literally on the same day. And I think that's a first, like particularly on console, that's a first to be able to sort of to deliver broadcast gameplay to people live.
Exactly, yeah, and we've got a whole lot of stuff which you'll be talking about in a feature in a few minutes' time. Other thing as well, we've got a whole heap of changes to rank racing that have cleared out a lot of the sort of cheating and all sorts of dubious sort of stuff. So the leaderboards have been reset, and so rank racing is getting a new sort of life to it. We've done sort of features on that in the past, but the headline things are that rank racing now only goes on a number of specific paradise drives, so they're race routes that have been chosen by the team and by racers out in the community. They're done one round at a time. One of the things that actually plagued rank racing for quite a time was people actually exiting part of the way through a multi-round game and all these kind of
those
disconnect cheats and stuff like that kind of thing.
Those cheats.
Exactly. So now you go online, you play one race at a time, and so the penalties and the impacts and all that kind of stuff are a lot more level. So that'll be a lot more fun because rank racing is a great part of the game. It'd be great to get a lot more people out onto rank racing.
I think now the leaderboards have been reset, I feel like it might be a level enough playing field that I could make it to the top. It's got to be a goal.
Yeah, and also the other thing as well with the live event stuff that's coming to the game calendar, on certain days we'll be actually specifying what kind of cars go in the rank races. So it won't be entering a lobby and having a load of PCPD F1 style cars all competing against one another. It'll all be about actually how skilled the racer is in the various different vehicles. So that's
awesome.
And then talking of vehicles, we've got to talk about vehicles. We've got a lot of new stuff coming in the form of vehicles for the Cagney update.
Yeah, so let's talk about, first off, the new cars, 2 new cars.
Yep.
The Rai-Jin that we've talked about briefly now and that you'll see driving around with either Burnout team, some Select Press or our Elite Forum posters. And we've got the Olympus, which is a massive 4x4 vehicle, the biggest and toughest car in the game. And this is a vehicle with no boost, so for the first time in Burnout, a car with no boost, but quite a high top-end speed, and you can barrel through town. Traffic's pretty much meaninless.
It eats cross-traffic alive, doesn't it?
You can just smash your way through everything. And we're experimenting straight out of the mark with some calendar events relating to the Olympus that experiment with just how powerful that car is and what its strengths really are.
Yeah, and this is one of the things actually we've already got a lot of people asking, hang on a minute, I've just downloaded the Codename Cagney update. Where do I get all these cars? How do I do it? Well, we're changing things up there. We're not just sort of delivering you the cars with the pack. We do have in there new liveries for the Inferno van in terms of the Hippie van and the Oval Steel Racer, which were 2 liveries that were suggested to us by Crazy Stoff, one of our fans who entered a forum competition on the website to actually design the things.
Yeah, but, came up with 2 just hilarious designs. One, the hippie wagon that we would never have designed ourselves. Just kind of like the most sort of left field design, I think, for a Burnout vehicle, and just the funniest thing that I've seen in the game.
And then the Oval Steel Racer, which is just such a creative idea that the guys just had to do it. So anyway, yeah, you get those straight away when you've downloaded the game. But to get things like the Hunter Olympus, the GT Tiger, the Tempesta Dream, beautiful car, all of those things, watch the live page. We're not going to be unlocking using offline progression. This is going to be online progression. It'll be all about calendar events and everything, and so in the feature in a few moments we'll explain how that works.
Crash TV Spotlight. Game calendar.
So I'm joined by Matt Follett, who's going to help us explain how the live front page calendar works in a little bit more detail. And I think the first thing to explain here is for PS3 and 360 owners, you are getting this at slightly different times because we've experienced a few last minute bugs with the 360 version, and we're doing everything that we can now to get that version out to you. But there is a slight delay, and obviously what you're going to experience on the PlayStation 3 right away is the beauty of live broadcast gameplay is we can create a few fun special events for you guys right off the mark. We just wanted to really go into like a little bit of detail on what does the calendar look like when you go into the game and you see those events circled in red, and you look on the blog and it explains what they're going to actually do. We want to give you like a top line on how we're structuring those kind of seasons and how we're going to actually build out the calendar. And we've effectively split the events into 3 types. We've got what we're calling Test Drive Tuesdays, Face-Off Thursdays, and the main events, which are our big broadcast gameplay graduation events at weekends. So perhaps just jump in on Test Drive Tuesdays, Matt. What are we talking about there?
Yeah, so Test Drive Tuesdays, you'll go online, go into your junkyard, and you'll notice that the car selection has been focused around a certain group. on the first Tuesday, we're going to focus on speed cars, speed boost cars. So you'll go online, go into your junkyard, you'll notice you'll have every single speed car available. That's all you'll have. There's a lot of cars, but they're only going to be speed cars.
Brilliant. So anything in the game, any of the game modes, just jump in there, and it's going to be all speed car based action.
It is, and it'll change the way you play some of these game modes online. I'm seeing the stunt one being quite a bit more difficult in a speed car, but that's the fun of it.
We'll soon find out.
Yeah.
But and obviously the beauty is it's a level playing field, so everybody's going to be out in the same cars, and so for the first time we'll be able to sort of focus the action on specific car types, and know that everybody's playing with the same types of vehicles. So the next one then, Face Off Thursday sounds good. Face Off Thursday. So you'll go online, go into your junkyard, you'll have exactly the same cars. It's only when you come to a race, this is ranked racing or unranked racing, your car selection will be very limited. This is so we can focus you on a certain group of cars. So we've already had the Drift Kings on yesterday, which focused you on some Japanese high performance cars, very similar performance, and we wanted to see which would come out best in racing. Yeah, and this is your sort of personal bugbear, isn't it? Matt, it's been your mission over several weeks to convince me to use any other car than the PCPD, which I know that I'll always go the fastest in. But there's just such a ton of gameplay out there with different styles of vehicles and different handling vehicles that I think I'm going to actually quite enjoy just sampling the other car types in different ways. Yeah, as you said before, it's the man, not machine. And by focusing it on to some of the slightly slower cars or different boost type cars, we can really test who's the best racer. Brilliant. And then so the final events and the main events, what we're kind of building towards the graduation events, and how do they work? Graduation events. So go online on a weekend and go into your garage, and you'll notice you'll have a car that you will not have driven before. So the first one of these will be the Mount Olympus event, and we'll be giving you the Olympus to drive. Now, we've shown this before. It's the big non-boost car, so it doesn't have boost, and you'll get to drive it for the first time for the whole weekend. It's the big 4x4. It is, yeah. So we're going to loan you this for the weekend, but you have a chance of winning it and keeping this car for good. If you take the Olympus into a free burn road rage event and win it, it's yours for good. You get to keep it. That's awesome. And so the second and third graduation events are going to be a similar kind of thing. We're going to play around with some of the other new vehicles and some of the other new game modes and kind of combine them to say, do this, complete this, and we'll give you those vehicles and those liveries for keeps. And we're building all of that towards like a final event, the culmination of those three graduation events will be a special event that we're actually not going to talk to you about just yet. That'll be something that we bring to you in a future podcast. So that's pretty much the summary. I think that's everything we wanted to tell you. Obviously, more detail on the website CriterionGames.com. Much more detail in the live blog as it comes up. And the summary there for you: Test Drive Tuesdays, Face Off Thursdays, and the big graduation weekend events.
Coming soon. Codename Davis.
Okay, there's the calendar and the live front page. Two amazing additions, I think, to the Cagney software update.
Absolutely.
So, Simon, I think a lot of people will be wondering why we're the only people in the podcast this week. Normally there's a whole crew of us, but it's absolutely deserted today.
Yeah, well, Matt's off on vacation. Hopefully playing lots and lots of Codename Cagney on Burnout Paradise.
I guess he is.
Yeah, sort of, aside from you and me and Pone the dog here.
Podcast regular, Pone the dog.
Basically, everybody's out there working really, really hard on the Codename Davis update. Pleased to say that this week, Codename Davis went content complete, which means that all the features that are going to be into Davis are now finalised and they've gone in the code, but there's a whole heap of testing to be done. Yeah,
so the software's got lots of bugs in it, and it goes through a test process here, it goes through a test process with Electronic Arts, and then it goes on to both Sony and Microsoft for testing on their various platforms. And for anybody out there wondering why PS3 is out earlier than Xbox 360 for our Cagney software update, it's as simple as we missed a few bugs. So we're working through the software, and when it gets to that final stage of testing, Microsoft found a couple of bugs that we hadn't pulled out, so we're now heads down just getting that stuff fixed, and we'll have that with you as soon as we can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Davis is a pretty exciting update for me, because it's the first update where we finally bring the long talked about bikes. We'll be delivering day-night gameplay, and we'll be bringing weather. And we discovered this week actually that we've spent so much time focused on Cagney, talking about that and looking at that. We haven't really told you very much about Davis, and we're going to bring you a load of detail on that next week.
Yeah, it was one of the great things about working on the website is, as the team are working really hard on the next update, we're focusing on the stuff that's coming and telling you guys about what's just about to come out. And then in the same way that you guys are now anticipating the next round of stuff, we're now just starting to roll on to Davis, and we're going to be bringing you all the details on what's coming with Davis starting from next week. But this week we're going to take a little sneak peek on what's going on in the team. Earlier on this week we caught up with Neil Manners, who is our expert animator on the team, and what he's doing is bringing the very first characters, apart from the guy's head in the PCPD, yes we know, to Burnout Paradise. So we hopped along and saw what he was up to.
Fantastic, let's take a look.
Hi there, my name's Neil, and I'm going to give you a quick talk about the animation work we've been doing for Davis. Okay, so first of all we're going to plan out what we want to do with the motorbikes, and we go out and collect loads of reference from TV, movies, the internet, anything motorbike related. We correlate it all and work out what's looking good, what's going to be cool for the game. I've got some examples here of one of the guys we recorded. This guy works with us, so we just got him to do some stretches, kind of if he was waiting at the lights. Filmed for some footage of him outside. Collect that kind of stuff. It's good reference for when I'm working on the animation. We then design the character. This particular character was designed by Jin. We do the 2D sketch of it, then we build it in 3D. Again, this was done by Jin. I get the character and then I rig him up. So basically I create these little boxes that move the skeleton around, and that allows me to pose the character exactly how I want within the game. I take some reference, so say this shot here, it's kind of hands on the tank, sorting out his gloves. That will then give me some ideas what I can do here for the animation. So this particular one is just, will be like an idle for the rider. He's looking around. Okay, so when that's good, we can then go and get that into the game. Okay, here we are in the capture suite. I've relocated here so we get a better look. You can get a better look at the action. Right, okay, so this is the first time we've had characters in the game, and we've been able to develop the animation system from the ground up. We've started by concentrating on the weaving and cornering of the bike. Handling's always been really important in Burnout, and we wanted to make sure that the bikes felt radically different from the cars. So you're going to get a completely different experience while riding around Paradise. So one of the first things to go in was the guy turning. We wanted you to feel like you're controlling the rider, and then the rider's controlling the bike. So you'll notice how the rider slightly leans before the bike. You get his weight shifting over as the bike turns. As you're accelerating, you can see the dude's arm hit the accelerator. And if we look at his feet kick up and down the gears. Get another look at that. Slow down a bit so we can see that. There they go. As we're speeding up, he leans over the front of the bike, keeping the weight over the front wheel so the front wheel doesn't come up. If we push forward, we tuck into the bike, you get a bit extra speed. And as we brake, he sits up, slowing the bike down. Okay, let's find some jumps. Okay then, I've driven down to the South Bay Expressway where I can show you some of the jumps in action. You can see the guys straightening up, anticipating the landing. As we land, he compresses with the suspension of the bike. You can also lean the bike back or forward, pushing forward or back on the stick. We've got some little stunts in there that I can show you. We've got the wheelies in. Again, you'll be able to see the dude revving the engine. Right, okay, so one of the other stunts you could do is the donuts. And then if you pull back, yeah, we can get the wheelie donut going. Whee. Okay then. So let's have a look at some of the other bikes you'll be able to get. I think most people have probably seen the male rider. I've also been working on a female rider. Here she is in a nice pink outfit. Okay, so here's another bike that you'll be able to get when you download Davis. This is the street bike. And here's the female rider on the street bike. It's getting a little bit dark. There's no lights coming in. Right, and that's about it. I would like to show you more, but unfortunately I'm not allowed to. So that's it from me and the animation team.
Mailbag@CriterionGames.com.
That brings us on to our regular community spot, where we take a look at what's been going on in the Burnout community and find out just what the fans have been up to this week. And the first thing we wanted to talk about was two of our fans that came into the studio for a visit, Prowler and Guyver, alias Rob and James from the PSN community. And these guys dropped by the studio, sent us a mail a little while ago and said, hey, we'd love to come down, meet the team, see what's going on. And so we took a day out to see what they thought of the game. We had a great time. We took them around, showed them all of the new Cagney and Davis content, showed them some of the secret features that we've got coming up, I think most of which we've talked about, and had the chance to really play the game with them and see what they thought. I think those they were top guys. I think what was cool chatting to them was just finding out, you know, the things that they like to do in the game, how they play differently, and I think both of those guys are into free burn challenges in a big way. They like to play with, you know, the whole community, and I think they host great sessions. You know, they pull everybody in, and then they just host a great session where it'll be a couple of races, bunch of free burn challenges, and they really kind of chip through the game. I think it's always really good fun to meet up with them.
I would say it's one of those kind of things. I mean, we've played online with those guys before, and one of the things that Guyver is known for is actually hosting sessions, and he's helped a lot of the people through the freeburn challenges and stuff, and got that really sense of community going. So yeah, it was really cool to finally get to meet them, and also they got the opportunity to be the first people to actually try out the Rai-Jin.
Yeah, that was it. That was a good first for those guys. And then I think we wanted to talk briefly about visits from the fans. I think we opened up the doors to the studio. A big focus for us this year at Criterion Games, where we used to be very, very secretive about what we're doing, is to kind of kick the doors open and say, hey, come on in, you know, anybody's welcome, come and visit us. And we've literally done that. Anyone who's mailed us and said, want to come down for a visit, I'm a big fan of the game and I'd love to see the new stuff, we've said, no problem, come on down. I think what we want to do the next time, and we've already had a request actually through from someone, we wanted to try and group some people together, get about kind of 8-9 people together, have them play the game together but in one place, and really do like a load of cool work testing the new stuff and seeing what they think. And also I think we can kind of refine some of the work that we're doing based on a full day session with those guys. So if you're interested in taking part in that, contact us at Symes
at mailbag@CriterionGames.com.
Fantastic. And if you're in the vicinity of Guildford, then head on down. We'd love to see you.
Okay, so over to the mailbag. As usual, we have some questions to the mailbag, and I've got a few here, Jez, that we'll take a look at.
All right, great. So in the absence of everybody from the team today, I'll endeavour to answer the questions for you.
Hey, Pone will be on hand to help us. Okay, right. Where are we now? Okay, so here we've got Aaron Sessions, mailed us, with the opening phrase, "What's up, Burnout Gods?" No. Yeah, you know, sort of thing. So that's a, you know, I don't know whether
What's up, Burnout Gods? Any mail that starts "What's up, Burnout Gods" gets read out. I think in the podcast, it's a new rule.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, but anyway, they say Aaron says that he's very worried about getting the new cars and how the game calendar will work. He said, you guys said a while ago that we have to complete an event to or do a challenge on a certain date. I haven't got a chance to experience the game calendar and stuff, but I already hate this. If I want to unlock an awesome new car, but I have to compete in a race weekend when I'm on vacation, I might never even have the chance to play around with that car. I also don't like the idea of earning cars, but only for a limited time. I just don't like that at all, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people would rather keep the car or the paint job for the rest of their lives. I have a busy summer, and I'd hate to miss out on something cool because I have a life.
It's stressful, man. It's stressful. Aaron, cool it. I think it's going to be no problem. Yeah. So I think the important thing we wanted to point out here with the calendar was the idea is we create live events that you don't have to go to. You can just go and check them out. And if you think that racing in a particular car or freeburn challenging with a particular set of cars is fun and different, the way that we've laid it out to you on any particular calendar day, then that's kind of the goal for us. We want to change the game every day and create new things for people to go and experience, so that when I switch it on a Thursday, it's different than the previous day. And I think for Aaron, who's concerned that he can't get hold of the cars, we did want to keep some cars back to reward people for actually going and playing those events. We're going to be keeping them for the qualifying events that we talked about in the feature earlier, but it's important to point out that we will rerun this stuff. If you miss an event, we don't want people kind of defining what they do for the rest of the summer based on what we've put in the calendar, but we'd love people to come, so we'll reward you for coming and taking part with a car, but don't worry if you don't get it. And if you really want to be the completist and have every car in the game, you'll always have an opportunity to come back and get those vehicles.
Also, the other thing as well, it's about a chance to try out cars that you may have not yet got to. One of the features, one of the events that we're running actually allows you to play around with all the Carbon NXS cars, which I know only the guys that have earned 101% have actually managed to get. You know,
but if you haven't earned 101%, then it's a perfect opportunity for you to check out the carbon cars, check out some of the reward vehicles that we've got.
So you'll be joining us on that one, are you, Des?
Yeah.
Okay, so moving swiftly on. Right, okay, here we go. This one from Craig A. Benvey, or Abernite, our newly marked up Elite Forum poster.
Ah, superb. Round of applause.
Yeah, absolutely. Woohoo! I was thinking in terms of a little park or something on the new island that has signs on plaques in it showing up the top one race, who the top 100 racers were pre-Cagney, or who's the best, or something like that sort of thing. So he's kind of suggesting something dedicated to the community on the new island.
Oh, it's a fabulous idea. It's a fabulous idea. We should do it.
We should.
So I think we talked a bit about this before when we had the Showtime competition that we ran. The winner was a guy called Wayne, who's a DBC9MX, who produced some unbelievable Showtime scores, absolutely colossal. And we invited him down to the studio to show us how it was done. So if you haven't checked out one of the previous podcasts, which one was it, Simon? 3?
Oh, it's about 3 weeks ago.
I think Crash TV 3. It's a great opportunity to see Wayne showing off his skills in that game mode. And as a reward for that competition, we offered him the chance to name one of the hotels in the New Island location. So we'll be announcing just what that's called and showing some shots of how we've adapted that to meet his design, which was really great fun to do. But I think we wanted to announce right now, for the first time, that the New Island location that'll be coming in a future update that we've talked a fair bit about, we're going to rename everything in it after people in the community. I think that, you know, it's a big focus for us this year. We're all about embracing, you know, the fans of the game and listening to what they've got to say, and involving them in the process. And so what we thought we'd do is run a series of competitions, get some people to the studio, have them look at the stuff that we've got, and really kind of get involved. And we'll be naming the streets, the bridges, the buildings, everything after the people who really matter most, the guys that play the game.
Yeah, and we've been actually talking to Dave, Mark and the guys on the World Team and saying, look, anything that you can put a name on, can you just mark it down? So over the coming weeks we'll start talking to you on the website and in the podcast about how you can probably get your name in lights or on concrete or wherever it is in the new island.
And it's probably about time we did a new update on the island as well. I don't think people have seen that for a long time.
Let's take the camera out there next week.
Great.
Okay, right, so next one, we've got a mail here from Garrett, and says, hi, I'm a usual Burnout gamer, been playing since the start and loving Paradise, my favourite game. I've mailed before and I still have questions about upcoming stuff you can hopefully answer. Are the trophies going to be in Davis? And will we have to redo all of Burnout to get the trophies, because Sony says trophies aren't retroactive? Right, so if you have been reading my blogs on the US PlayStation blog or some of the pieces we posted on the website, you'll find out that because of the incredible forward thinking of the guys out there,
I love that.
It's just fantastic. They actually decided to lock your PlayStation profile to your save game to your PlayStation profile. This has meant that, of course, all the people that have mailed into the mailbag going, I've gone and lost my save game and I can't recreate it yet. You guys are going to have to start again. So if we can't emphasize it enough, please back up your save games. This is really important because we can't recreate them for you. But the great advantage of this means that all the progress that you've made in Burnout Paradise from the moment you put that disc in all the way to now and all the way to the time that the trophy supporting update comes out, all of that will count towards your trophies. So yeah, we're doing retroactive trophies, and Criterion is one of the only companies in the world that's actually supporting that. So yeah, we are actually breaking from what Sony have said, because we've actually got it planned in.
Fantastic. So when we ship the trophy update, and we don't know yet exactly when that'll be, but when we ship the trophy update, it's like cash-in time for the guys that have played a lot of Burnout. The 101 guys will be reaping the rewards in terms of trophies.
Absolutely, yeah. So there you go. So no, it won't be in the Davis update. We're trying to stress that that's not the case. Davis is now content complete, and all the work for the trophies is being done right now. But when it comes, you'll be able to cash in that Burnout save game, get loads and loads of trophies. And if anybody's wondering what the trophies are going to be and everything, we're still working on the finer details of it. But what we will say is play the offline game as you would expect to normally. Keep collecting the cars, doing the events, collecting those Paradise Awards, and by the time that the update comes out, you'll have a whole heap of PlayStation trophies waiting for you.
Yep, so we'll bring you more on that in the podcast.
Okay. Righto, so that was the letters for this week. So we've got some competitions. So I think it's time to run the jingle.
Crash TV. Competition.
Right, okay, so this week's competitions. Well, if you recall from previous weeks, we've been wanting to try and see some of your mugshots and everything.
And mugshot competition, I was never sure this was a great idea.
You'd be surprised. We had some fantastic responses from PlayStation guys. Last week I said what I wanted to do was Xbox 360 owners, send in your mugshots, and we'll send you something in the way of some really cool limited edition 2005 Xbox nameplates that were there for the launch. Well, anyway, we've got the 3 winners in. So first up, we've got Dan Falconer. He sent us 3 mugshots. This actually is a mugshot of Dan, and these are the mugshots that he sent in. This one here is of Solid Sonic TH, who's smiling away just there. He's also took a shot of Prizzylicious, who isn't in the shot at all. And finally, Tiger Ra, who sent us this wonderful headline
that we can't show. Okay, I've got 3 here. I've got Halley86 hiding his face. I've got Black Hawk 90 without a face at all. In fact, he's a rubber duck playing the game. And finally, Brucey00 who's trying to show his face but has missed.
Yeah, and those were sent in by Bill S. And finally, our final winner is Dean Jones, who also goes by the name of Cube 1701. So this is actually what Dean looks like, and he's apologising for the small squiggly thing that appeared over his head because he was having to take a photograph of the screen at the time. And he sent a shot of Willith, who is holding his hat at a very rakish kind of animal.
Good use of the word rakish there, Simon.
Why, thank you. Then, of course, of Happy Few, who looks like some kind of strange cartoon character. And following the cuddly animal theme, we have more teddy bears from a Red Devil 23. So there we go. So those Xbox 360 nameplates are winging their way to you guys. And if anybody wants to carry on, please send us your best 3 mugshots. And what we've got coming up as prizes for next week is we've got 3 Prima guides from the original Burnout team. They're all signed up by the original Burnout team, and we'll send those out to you for if you can send us in your best 3 mugshots. And say 360 owners really appreciate the effort you're having to make, because it's not quite as easy as it is on the PlayStation 3. So there you go. Right, so that's
Fantastic.
Winners for this week. We did run another competition last week, which was Send Us Your Best Car Wreck. Now, we've had a few entries into the mailbag. Not so hot. We've had a couple of slightly creative ideas, but we've just mainly had people just filming fairly standard sort of wrecks. And what we wanted to do was to give you guys the opportunity to showcase how mangled and smashed up one of your cars can be, and show us the evidence of it after some kind of spectacular.
I'm so in on that one. Crashing the cars is what I do best.
You don't even want to know about my crashes per minute score. But anyway, yeah, so what we wanted to do was get you guys to send us in photographic or video evidence of your absolute worst Paradise wreck. We've had a couple of entries at the moment that have been really creative, where people have gone online and smashed their cars together. We've had one barrel rolling through the hoop with 3 cars at the same time. We'd like to see more. So what we want to do is we want to extend this competition for just one more week, because at stake is this awesome... Now, if I can get
This
the right
is
way
actually
around.
awesome. This came from my desk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can see how big Jez's desk is.
I was gutted to see that go. Look at that.
Yeah, this gigantic Paradise poster, which we're getting signed by the whole team. And what we'd like you to do is to send in evidence of your best Burnout Paradise crash. So videos, photos. What we'll do is, if it's video, we'll actually feature it in the podcast. But we want to see something really amazing, something really out of the ordinary, absolutely spectacular. And so yeah, keep sending the entries. Next week we'll say the most spectacular wreck will win that fantastic poster.
Alright, that just about wraps it up for this week's podcast. We've had a cool time showing you all the latest news from Criterion Games and bringing you the latest on Burnout Paradise. If you want to join us next week, we'll be in video-only format. So if you're listening to the show now and you can hear us but can't see us, you won't be able to do that next week. It's the final Crash FM, so Crash FM 39, and that's it. Next week will be Crash TV 6, and we're switching to video-only. So if you want to join us, just hit the subscribe link on iTunes, and we'll look forward to bringing you the news then.
Yeah, and if you want to catch it with the news daily, then check by CriterionGames.com, or now that the Codename Cagney update is out for PlayStation 3, keep checking the live page, because we're posting stories there, as well as telling you all the latest about the upcoming calendar events on the live page.
Brilliant. If you want to contact us, we're available on mailbag@CriterionGames.com, or you can send us posts to Electronic Arts, Onslow House, Onslow Street, Guildford, Surrey, GU1 4TN. You've got that down. You've got that down signed.
Yes.
I'm still having to read it from the post. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Mailbag@CriterionGames.com. Mail us at Criterion Games, Onslow House, Onslow Street, Guildford, Surrey, GU1 4TN in the UK.